Thank you all so much. Thank you for welcoming me. It's a pleasure to join you. Ensuring that every student in America has equal access to a quality education is essential to our nation's future. Sadly, today, far too many students, especially those who historically have been underserved, do not have equal access. And far too many students, especially LGBTQ youth, struggle to feel safe and supported to be who they are in school. It is so important for all of us to stand up for our most vulnerable students, particularly in the current climate in which federal civil rights protections for students, including LGBTQ youth, is uncertain. I can say with pride that it's been a highlight of my career to meet remarkable young people like Niles, student activists who are working to make our communities and our country more kind, more tolerant, and more representative of America's highest ideals.
Thank you, Secretary King. Along with several GLSEN ambassadors, I had a chance to meet with Secretary King a few months ago. It meant so much to have strong allies in positions of power where they can make a huge impact. During our meeting, we had the opportunity to discuss some critical issues facing LGBTQ students. Hearing our stories validated by Secretary King provided us with the irreplaceable experience of being heard. I had certain facts clarified around my queer, trans, and disabled identities, and the discrimination I face for them that empowered me with the knowledge that whatever opposition I may face surrounding both my work and school identities, that students like me have the support and care of strong allies such as Secretary King. Having our stories and needs as LGBTQ+ students, and also as students with other marginalized identities, listened to and understood, left all of us with the revolutionary impact of bearing witness to and showing respect to youth like us. Our stories are valuable and deserve to be heard. The meeting with Secretary King left me with a feeling of empowerment and renewed hope, but also with the revitalized recognition of the roles educators in my community have played in my life. Now, it's up to individual community members and educators to realize GLSEN's values of respect and inclusivity in schools.
Exactly, Niles. Without the ability to count on institutional support at the federal level, it's more important than ever before for communities and educators across the country to work toward protecting all students. I'm particularly heartened by the efforts of leaders like GLSEN's Educator of the Year, Ann Clark. Ann is the superintendent of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School District in North Carolina, where the state's HB 2 law threatened the rights of LGBTQ students. Despite the new state policy, Ann led trainings for administrators throughout the district on compliance with the Obama administration's federal Title IX guidance to ensure all young people felt safe and welcome at school. Ann is a true champion of public education and has spent more than 30 years working in elementary, middle, and high schools. Ann is an advocate for students, a champion for civil rights, and a role model for us all.
Please join us in welcoming GLSEN's 2017 Educator of the Year, Ann Clark.
So as Martin Luther King Jr. says, the time to do the right thing is always right now. And in North Carolina, that's never been more the case. One of the things that I know, having spent 34 years in the state of North Carolina and in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, is that we have said all along that we are about every child, every day for a better tomorrow. And 3 years ago, as I took over as superintendent in the district, having been in the district in a variety of different roles, starting as a special education teacher, and I think it is that training as a special education teacher that reminds you that there are individual students, even when you have 150,000 students, as we have in Charlotte, that it is about each individual student. And so for me, stepping into the role as superintendent, as a special educator, and thinking about this notion of every child, every day for a better tomorrow, I challenged our leadership team and our building level principals and our teachers, and quite frankly, our community, to think about if we mean every child, then every child is every child. And so, with the incredible leadership of our LGBTQ students in our district, we were the first district in the state of North Carolina to put in place an anti-bullying policy. And at that moment, I was the chief academic officer and could not have been prouder of our students who really came to the podium at school board meeting after school board meeting, helping our board understand that it was a non-negotiable that we had to pass that anti-bullying policy. That was actually 8 years ago, but 3 years ago, I realized that it was not happening in our school system for every single child, that there was not only a safe, but also a joyful passage through our school district, starting when a student entered in pre-K or kindergarten, all the way through to their graduation year. And so it was with that in mind, and with a clear understanding that our principals in the district were asking for guidance about how to specifically support our transgender youth, that we began a process in our district that has now been shared with districts across the state of North Carolina and, quite frankly, our country, in terms of how we do what is the right thing for every single student in our district. So it is a privilege, certainly, to be here tonight in this amazing setting with people who are advocates, I know, for every child. And just know that as I continue my work in the district and move beyond that district when I retire in June of this year, that I am deeply committed to this notion of every child, and very specifically this notion of making sure that it's not just about safety, but it is about a joyful journey for every single student, and thinking about how we support building level principals in creating that welcoming, safe, joyful place for our students to learn and grow every day. So thank you to GLSEN for your great work as well.